Hey, everybody. Hello, hello, practice builders, and welcome. So happy to have you here with me today. So, we today are going to have a conversation about one of my favorite topics. Today, I'm going to dish on the 5 critical keys, actually, my 5 absolutely favorite tips to help you to successfully create and sell your online course. And I'm going to share a special bonus tip all about how to be paid in advance to create a home study product. So, it is going to be a juicy topic today. I tell you, I honestly, since COVID, this area of online courses has absolutely exploded. I'm getting so many calls and inquiries from practitioners who are wanting to add an additional service to their business model, which I got to hand it to them. That is makes a ton of sense because that is really the essence of a healthy business model. You want to have multiple streams of income coming in. And the other thing I'm hearing over and over again is that, in the one-to-one model, which is, the traditional model that most of us are trained in, that is great. That is a great way to help clients achieve their goals, and it can be very fulfilling, right? However, the drawback can be that it's exhausting, right? It can be very, very taxing. And eventually, as you guys know, as you get busier and busier in your practice, you kind of run out of hours to sell in the day, right? So, you're definitely at higher risk for burnout if all you're doing day in and day out is one-to-one work. And I would say you're leaving money on the table as well, right? Because you have this huge opportunity to leverage your time by being able to serve more people in any given hour through courses and group workshops, right? So there's all kinds of reasons why this topic really seems to be, seriously, like crazy, crazy popular right now. So, all right. So, question for you. Do you just ask yourself and maybe give me a quick comment in the chat? Do you want to capitalize on the opportunity to not only serve more people in your community or audience by adding a new revenue stream to your business, such as online courses, and add that into your business model? Are you someone that has been thinking about it, but maybe you're not sure if you can pull it off? So give me a quick comment in the chat because I want to know where you are. I want to know if this is something you've been thinking about doing, and just where you are in the process. That would be really awesome. So, all right, so again, today we are going to talk about the 5 critical keys for creating and selling your successful online course, including how to be paid to create your home study program. And if you're new to me, welcome. I'm so happy to have you with me here today. My name is Lesli Bitel, and I'm a business consultant and mentor for integrative and functional practitioners in private practice. And what I do in my work is I do a lot of different things, essentially help my clients to streamline all of the necessary business related aspects of running a successful and profitable practice so that what ends up happening is you're able to do the work that you love, do the work that you're meant to do on this earth, and really be able to make a great living doing it. So I'm happy to be here with you today. And before we jump into the content, I do want to mention for those of you that really want to get a jump start on this process and really master the content, right? Who are really serious, you want to get your online course or group workshop up and running, as early as this summer. I do have something that I think you're going to want to take a look at. And that is my course called Lucrative Course Blueprint. Go to lucrativecourse.blueprint.com. Actually, I am going to, there you go, lucrativecourse.blueprint.com. You can see that flying across your screen there, which is kind of a cool little feature of StreamYard, right? Anyway, check it out. Now, granted, some of you might not be ready yet. You're maybe thinking, this is a course that I offer once a year. So unless my plans change, the intention is that I'm going to offer it now. and maybe not again for another year. So if you have any intention of really getting serious and getting your course out into the world and, out of your brain into the world, then I really would encourage you to take a peek at lucrativecourseblueprint.com. This is version 2.0. I offered this course in the fall. These are all tried and true strategies that I have implemented and perfected myself over the years. And as a result, have been able to generate. I had my first launch was a $30,000 launch using these strategies I'm teaching. And I've even had an $80,000 launch. So I know that they work. Additionally, these are the exact strategies that I teach my clients to implement in their own businesses. And as a result, there was a practitioner in the last go of Lucrative Course Blueprint. Her very first launch, she was able to generate almost 10,000. So I know that these strategies work. And I also know, because I've been here, right? I'm a practitioner. I've actually been through this process before. These are the strategies that are going to really decrease the amount of confusion and time that it takes for you to get this process moving forward. Because without a blueprint, it can be so confusing in terms of what action steps need to happen in which order. So really my intention is to give everything you possibly could need in this process for you to successfully create, sell, and launch your online course. All right, so take a peek. Oh, and one thing I do want to mention, in addition to the 6 modules, that really action-packed 6 modules in the course, there's 4 bonuses, 4 special bonus workshops, including a special workshop with my own Facebook ad strategist, Kathy Lowenstern. And in this workshop, she is going to teach you basically how to fill your courses if you choose to use Facebook ads. So, and also Instagram ads, I should mention that. And there's a 90-minute special live workshop that I'm going to be teaching called List Building Secrets. So in addition to the 6 modules, you're going to get 4 bonus workshops and a whopping 6 hours of laser coaching and Q&A time as a group. So it really is a pretty amazing class, and I'm awfully proud of it. So check it out. All right, so again, if you're just joining, welcome. Today, I'm going to share the 5 critical keys for creating and selling your successful online course, including my absolute favorite bonus tip, how to be paid to create a home study program. So definitely going to want to stick around to hear that. All right, so let's jump in. Are we ready to go? Let's do this. All right, so let me share some secrets about what makes a successful course work. And these, again, are things that I've learned along the way and would certainly have loved to have known myself from the very beginning. That I can certainly attest to. So my goal in sharing this information is to prevent you from making some of the really common mistakes, and instead have your first course or your next course be a huge success. All right, so let's jump into the 5 very specific tips right now, shall we? All right, the tip number 1 is the first thing you want to do is to make absolutely sure that you know what your audience wants, okay? A lot of times we think we know what they want, but we really don't. It's really interesting how that works. You know, we come from our clinical training, so we're looking at things from a different vantage point as compared to our clients. And in order to be successful as a course creator and, to be able to actually fill our courses and make them profitable, really the bottom line is you must pick a topic that you know that your target market views as urgent. We need to be solving a very urgent problem inside of your course. So that is, I cannot tell you how important that is. Again, a lot of times we think we know, but we really don't. And that's where things can kind of go off the tracks if you don't take the time to validate your concept and potentially to do a little market research. And that's really what I recommend. We do this, I take you step by step in Lucrative Course Blueprint in terms of how to go about doing this successfully. And that way, when you work through your course creation process, it does require time, and time is a very valuable resource. So by going through this validation process and doing some market research in advance, you can rest assured that you are onto a topic, you're developing a topic or concept that is not only relevant to you, but it's something that your target market is going to view as very, very key, very important, and they are going to be willing to jump in and pay for it. So that's super important, as you can well imagine. So myself, when I was looking for a topic, when I really first started to create my first business related course for integrative functional practitioners, just as an example, I had this idea for, a big 6-month course, right? A 6-month course. And I do have this course. It's called my Six Figure Biz Academy. And it's a super deep dive, literally A to Z, everything you could possibly need to know to build a super successful and lucrative private practice. Okay. But what I did was I thought, what would be like a smaller chunk? What is something I could extract out of that big giant course that would be more bite sized, right? For me as a course creator and also for my audience. So what I did was I began to listen. I did some interviews with my audience, and I really tried to tune in to what the biggest problem was that my target market was experiencing. And what I came up with, what I kept hearing, was that they were having a hard time with discovery calls, right? Like they had this amazing program, they're feeling really good about their ability to help people. But when it came time to have those discovery calls or enrollment conversations, as I like to call them, they were falling flat, right? So I thought, okay, Eureka, that is what I'm going to focus on. So, and that's really how my Turning Conversations into Clients course was born, right? It was really based on, what's a piece of the big, content that I teach in my Six Figure Biz Academy. What's like a little piece that's going to move the needle for my target audience and solve a really top of mind relevant problem. So what I recommend for this step is, you got to figure out what your audience desperately wants, right? You got to listen, do some interviews, do some market research, maybe do some polling. There's a lot of different ways, but essentially you want to do your homework first. Because again, your course, any successful course, has to be centered on an urgent topic that people need solved now, right? Not later, not someday, not it would be nice. It needs to be centered on something that they want now. Okay. So that's tip number one. All right. So the second secret of successful online courses is to make sure that your free content really delivers value. Okay. Super, super important. Now, over the past several Facebook Lives, and if you were with me during when I did my own 4-day complimentary training on sales funnels, we talked a lot about what a sales funnel is and the different, components and how to make that work. So I'm not going to go into a ton of detail there, but suffice it to say that the middle part of your funnel is the middle part of your funnel that leads into your paid program, your online course, for example, is designed to give your target audience a taste of your brilliance, right? It's really designed to help your target market see the value of what you do. Maybe it's going to give them a quick win. Ideally, it will, right? And quite often, that middle part of that funnel requires them to exchange their name and email address for maybe a PDF of some sort or some kind of a lead magnet and possibly a webinar, or even, what I did a couple weeks ago, which was that 4-day special training. So everybody had to register for that. And so I was able to, grow my email list of, really interested people that were interested in the topic that I was teaching. So the key here, guys, no matter what it is you're offering in this phase, you want to ensure that you're providing value in this free content, because so often I've seen it over and over again. Oh, and it's just not good where you go to a free webinar, you're like, yay, this looks so good. And then it just is like, yuck, it's a big sales job, right? Not much actionable content, really no big takeaways or aha moments. And, it's just really focused on upselling into that next paid step. So you don't want to be that person, right? Your clients, your audience is going to feel manipulated and it's just not cool. So, tip number two is to make sure that your free content, whatever it is, your free report, your webinar, your 3-day training, your 5-day training, whatever it is that you pick in that funnel provides tremendous value for your target audience, even if they never become paying clients. Okay, regardless, you've got to provide great value and high quality content. All right. All right, so that's the second tip that I want to share with you. So let's move on to number three. All right, so tip number three, and I really love this one. Oh my gosh, you do not need to sell, or you don't need to create your entire course before you begin selling it. I know it's shocking, right? But seriously, you don't need to. And I hope you don't, because there's a lot of disadvantages to doing that. um, I've seen it happen over and over again. Some people get so intimidated about the idea of creating a course, let's say like a 6 module course. They're so busy writing the script and recording the videos and making all the handouts that they are so intimidated by it all that it just never gets off the ground, right? And maybe that's you. It could be you that I'm talking about. Honestly, the secret here, and this is the reality because I've done it myself many times. The secret is, as long as you know the subject matter of your course, you know how the concept is going to be broken down into modules, right? So you know what's going to be taught in each class. You've got a nice outline. You got to name your course. I would name each module. So you got to know how many modules it's going to be, what's going to be included in each module. I like to know the handouts that I'm going to include as well. So I like to decide on all these things in advance. So there are things that you need to know, but otherwise you are good to go, right? You can begin to actually pre-sell the program with that bit of information that I just mentioned. So the truth of the matter is, you can actually create the course 1 week at a time as you deliver it for the first time, right? So that, I think, hopefully that'll take some pressure off of you. Now, one thing I will say is that can feel scary, right? It can feel really stressful and scary doing it that way. But I just want to encourage you, like, you can pull it off. You really can pull that off. Because guys, just remember, you can have the best course in the entire universe, but if nobody buys it, it's just going to collect dust. So this is a way to really ensure that you're focusing on the marketing aspect. And then as long as you've got like the outline, the title, the modules, and list the handouts, right? Oh, there was a little windy in this house today. We've got a lot of doors open, so a little breezy. So you're hearing doors slam. Um, so as long as you've got those things done, I think you're going to be good to go. All right. And you can absolutely create the course 1 week at a time as you deliver it for the first time. All right. So let's move on to number 4. And I think you're going to love tip number 4. So remember, I've shared several times over the past weeks how I've seen so many people create these home study programs. They want this evergreen, they want the passive income. They spend hours and hours and hours writing, recording, popping them on their website, just doing all this work, creating the course, and then it sits there and crickets, right? Nobody buys. And that could be so disheartening. I've seen it happen over and over again. So we want to prevent this for sure. So what if I told you how to actually be paid in order to create a passive income product? There is a way, and I'm going to share. Actually, there's 2 ways. So the first way that I want to share is to, what you can do is you can first deliver your course live. So the first time out of the gate, you deliver the course live, you simply record it the entire time with the intention of taking and bundling all those recordings and worksheets and everything that go with the program, bundling that up and selling that as a home study course, right? So essentially, you're offering it live the first time, and then you're going to bundle those recordings and sell it as a home study product. Okay, so I love that strategy. And what ends up happening is it's almost like they're paying you to, for you to make your product, right? If you really think about it. So you'll use all the recordings, the videos, and the handouts from the course, and you're going to package that into a home study program for future passive income sales. So that is a great strategy. And honestly, I feel like this makes so much more sense than, the alternative, which is sitting home by yourself, spending hour after hour after hour, in isolation, basically, spending hours creating handouts and putting together all this content only to find out later that it doesn't sell, right? Again, we want to avoid that scenario at all costs. So this way assures that it has sold first to a willing audience, albeit live, right? And then if you actually create the content 1 week at a time, as I had suggested in tip 3, by the end, you have, your whole home study product already finished, soup to nuts, and you were essentially paid to do so. So that's pretty awesome, right? Okay, so the second way to be paid to create a home study program is to pre-sell it. All right, so let me share a little bit about what I mean. So a pre-sale is when you promote the entire program in detail and you say it's going to be available on X date. All right, so you essentially do the entire sales funnel and launch sequence, and you let everybody know that the program is going to be available on X date. So, of course, assuming you get all the sales that you're expecting, plus some, if you do a good job with the marketing, you have now been prepaid to create a product that everybody's waiting for, right? So that's pretty cool too. And because there's a date that it's going to become available, it really serves to keep you motivated and on track. I mean, accountability here is key, right? To get all the tasks done and the product complete. So I love that strategy as well. Now, the fifth strategy that I'm going to share is to consider doing a beta course. All right, so this might be a great option for some of you. So let's talk a little bit about what I mean by a beta course. All right, so a beta course sometimes is called a pilot program. And when you offer a course, this is essentially where, you might offer your course to a very small subset of your potential clients. And it really helps you to develop the course, and because you're getting feedback along the way, right? So in other words, you don't promote it publicly yet. You save that big fanfare and that, public launch for later. This is a little bit more under wraps, right? You're kind of just doing it on the side. And, basically what you can do is you do this by hand inviting a group of people in your audience to be in the special, I guess, advisory group, right? And for them, the course could be free or offered at a very reduced rate. So that's what's in it for them. And in return, they agree to give you feedback step by step, a lot of constructive ideas, ways that you can potentially improve the course. They might even agree to give you some feedback in the form of a testimonial. So there's a lot of kind of cool advantages to doing a beta. It definitely is a great way to get, some forward movement in the course creation world without feeling tremendous pressure to have everything perfect. And, in all honesty, you really don't need to do a big launch. It really kind of lessens the pressure, so to speak, of, having to, do a big launch in order to fill the course, because essentially what you're doing is you're just reaching out to people one by one and inviting them into this opportunity to participate in your beta. So that can be a pretty cool thing too. And it can be a smart way to go when you don't want to risk putting something out there, with this huge fanfare and celebration, only to find that you accidentally missed the mark. And so again, when you do a beta launch, you don't do a funnel and you really don't do like a big public strategy in terms of filling it. I mean, there are different ways to approach it, but probably I think the simplest way would just be to think of, a handful of people in your audience that you think would be a good fit to participate in your beta course. And I'd probably just reach out to them one by one. So, so basically you're kind of doing it on the side, right? Okay, so let's do a quick review. All right. So the 5, I think, really golden tips that I shared today is tip number 1 is you want to make absolutely sure that you know what your audience wants. Okay, absolutely imperative. Again, I go into a lot of detail in Lucrative Course Blueprint in terms of how to validate your idea to ensure that whatever course concept you're going to develop is going to be a winner. It's not only be something that you're passionate about, but it's also going to be something that sells. Okay, so that is tip number 1. Now, tip number 2 is you want to make sure that the free content in your sales funnel is super valuable and high quality. Okay, so you don't want to be that person that does a webinar and it's pretty much a big sales spiel, right? Because your target audience is going to not feel very good about that, and it doesn't put you in a great light. So you want to put your best foot forward and provide tremendous value, even if your people don't, even knowing that a percentage of people that are listening to your free content are not going to buy, right? It doesn't matter. You got to, always be providing tremendous value in order to really position yourself as a key authority figure in the marketplace. Okay, so let's keep going. So tip number 3 is the fact that you don't need to create your entire course before you begin selling it. So here we talked about, how it's probably not a good idea to, sit at home, make sure everything's perfect, every handout is perfect, your scripts are perfect. Like, you don't want to do that. And I've seen it happen way too often. So just remember, as long as you know the subject matter of your course, you've got an outline, you've got a name, you've got a price, you've also, I would recommend that you name each module, and you've got your bonuses. If you're going to offer any bonuses, you've got those all clarified. That is the stuff that people need to know in order to make an intelligent buying decision. And that's really all you need to have going before you start marketing your program or your course. And then you can end up creating or actually delivering the content week by week. So, week by week, what your content is, you're delivering it week by week. You're finalizing the worksheets, finalizing, the content of each of your modules. And honestly, guys, one thing I didn't mention is this really makes you nimble, because it never fails to amaze me how when I deliver a brand new course and I do it in this way, I'll deliver maybe a module or 2, and then I'll realize, oh, wait, like people are asking all about X, Y, and Z, right? So I may need to pivot my curriculum a little bit. And by doing it in this way, it does allow for that flexibility. Okay, and tip number 4 is all about being able to create a home study, basically pre-sell a home study program. And there's a couple different ways to do this. First, you can deliver your online course. You can deliver your course live the first time and then package up those recordings and the handouts and everything that came with it, and then sell it as a home study program or an evergreen program, right? So that's a great way to do it. And then the other way that we talked about is to be paid to create a home study program is essentially to pre-sell it. So the pre-sale is when you promote the entire program in detail and you say it's going to be available on X date, and you do the entire launch sequence and sales funnel, and then because there's a date that it's going to become available, you're held accountable for sure in order to get the work done. So that's a great thing to do as well. And then the fifth thing that I shared is to consider doing a beta. All right. I think this is a great strategy, especially if you kind of want to go under the radar the first time. You don't want a lot of fanfare or pressure. You would just handpick some people and hand invite them to participate in your beta. And in return, they would give you regular feedback, maybe a testimonial, constructive ideas for how to improve your course, that kind of thing. So that can be of tremendous relief to people as well, and a great way to get your feet wet in this whole course creation world. All right. So that is the content. Again, for those of you that are like, oh my gosh, I want to do this. I need help. I need hand holding. Again, I want you to encourage you to look at lucrativecourseblueprint.com. Really, really proud of this course. You're going to get 6 deep dive modules on the course creation process, as well as the whole entire marketing and sales sequence. So a lot of detail there. You're also going to get 4 bonus workshops, including one that I'm teaching. It's a live 90-minute list building workshop, and that alone is valued at $347, right? You're going to get a very detailed handout on how to grow your email list and how to create a very engaged list, okay? Which makes it so much easier to be successful at launching, right? So that's why I included that bonus. And you're also going to get a whopping 6 hours. So 3 2-hour sessions. Every other week, you're going to get a 2-hour session of group coaching and laser coaching and Q&A, because I want to make sure that you've got the support you need. You have a place to get your questions answered from me in order to actually execute the strategies that we're talking about. So my goal for you is to have your course ready to go as early as this summer. All right, guys? So just a special reminder, I'm closing the cart on Friday at midnight. So if this speaks to you at all, I would definitely recommend that you check it out, make a decision. I'd love to have you inside of Lucrative Course Blueprint. So the final day of registration, things shut down Friday evening at midnight Central. So if you have any intention of joining me, I hope you will do so before that magic hour. Okay, everybody, thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you got a ton of value, and I will look forward to seeing you again next week. Okay, bye-bye for now.